Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Piney Grove, and thanks for clicking the video. Got a text that Jimbo, our garage door installer, was coming back to finish the garage door install, but I never saw him come up on the property. So I came over here, and he's already hard at work. So what we had was, the garage door is up right now. You can't see it, but the bottom two sections of the garage door were damaged. And the very bottom part was formed wrong from the factory, and then the second panel up had a little dent in it. So we had to come back to fix that, but we also had him upgrade our garage door opener. So in our last video of putting in the garage door, he came in here and he put the tracks in on the side, and he installed the garage door, but he had brought a regular garage door opener, which this outlet right here was put in place for. Instead of going with the traditional in the center of the garage door opener, we decided to go with a wall mount because they're quieter, but he didn't have one at the time because he brought a center mount, and also we didn't have electric over there. So since the last time he was here, we had an electrical outlet put right there on the left side of the garage door opener, or the garage door. And that's where the opener will go, right there. And he'll have to put the garage door down to change the panels. I mentioned this in another video that I did on garage door openers, actually on our roll-up opener on the Mega Shed. And that's that this doesn't look like it's that complicated, but because it's spring-loaded, these garage doors will hurt you if you don't know how to work on them. Two things I won't mess with is doing electrical work and doing garage door work. There's just too many things that can go wrong. And that's the most dangerous part of a garage door, is that spring right there. He's gonna let that tension off so that he can separate these panels. You can see the three good panels. He's got one bar holding in that, and he said if that flies, it'll go across the garage, hurt somebody. So he's doing it a little bit different than I thought. I thought he was going to take the whole door apart and bring in the new panels like when you put a garage door together the first time, but he's just going to hold those top three in place, take the rollers off, and pull them out this way instead of sliding them all the way through the track. But the rollers are coming off so they can pull those panels off. They reuse this strut right here, and that is a wind load strut so the door doesn't flex in the center. That will go on the new door, or the new panel. I don't even know if you guys can hear me with all of the tools going on, but he said the bottom one will be the hardest one to come out because it's got a roller that you can't take off completely. It's hard to take those panels off without bringing them in from the top. So they have to take the rollers off, and also there's cables and there's spring tension. There's just a lot going on, and it's dangerous. And he even told me that on that bar on the top that he was using the whole tension against the door spring. He said don't get in the line of fire of that. He said if that lets go or comes out of the socket, it'll fly across the garage and, you know, go through a wall or something. So anyway, they got the bottom two panels off, and those are the two panels they have to replace. They're repurposing the strut down the side, and that strut is what keeps the door from flexing under a wind load. So when wind is pushing against the door, it won't flex, pull the door off of its rollers, and allow pressure to go inside the house, like in a hurricane or tornado type of environment. So it's rated to 130 or 150 or something like that. And so they're going to transfer the struts over to the new pieces, put those pieces back in, and then install the opener. All right, we're going in with the first new panel here.
Remember?
He's got the rollers in, and now he's got to hook the cable up to it. Putting the cable on. Once this one's in, I think the next one going in will be a little bit easier. So once they each get their rollers in, that panel is in place. Well, there's the panel in place, and this one seems to be formed correctly. What happened with the other one is when they come in, however they form this, with whatever punches that in and makes that metal bend like that, they didn't form one corner. All these were perfectly squared off, and the one on the end had a big crinkle right here. And you really just couldn't see it until it was mounted. You just see all the dust here from where the tile layers cut the tile in the garage. So all that has to be pressure washed. So it looks like it won't fit, so they're gonna have to raise that part up a little bit. I'm glad I'm out here because that's the dangerous part, where they let go of the vice grips on either side that are holding that door in place. Lift it up a little bit. They need the door to go up a little bit higher. They're 1 inch away from being able to put that panel in, and he's got the bar held up there with tension, but he has to try something different. I'm staying out of the way. The guys are in there working. I'm gonna stay in here so that I'm not in their way, and also because they're working with the tension of the garage door. But that kind of goes back to what I said earlier, that there's just certain things that you shouldn't do yourself because I don't have the experience, and that will kill you. Those bars and dealing with the tension, because the tension of that spring lifts up that whole heavy door, and one panel takes 2 men to move it. So there's 4 or 5 panels. I don't know how much that garage door weighs, but it's probably 800 pounds or so. And that spring tension's holding that up. So imagine if that releases immediately, that force, you know, things are gonna go flying. Garage doors are dangerous. That's the point that I'm trying to get across. I was asked Jimbo if the coast was clear. He said, yes, it is. Nobody got hurt and no garage doors got damaged. You see they got a lot more space to work with now. They've raised that up. So we got a comment when Deb was filming the guys putting in the granite. Just kind of to set the record straight, it's in our contract with the GC, the general contractor, that we're going to be filming out here. So all the subs like Jimbo are aware that we're filming, but we always ask people, right? If they don't want their face on YouTube, we ask them, and we'll just film like from behind them or something, or get some B-roll, basically not showing their identity. But Jimbo has no problem with us filming him, and they have no problem with us, you know, talking while they're working. But we also try to be respectful to them and recognize that they need time to think. And that's why I'm out here right now talking to you guys instead of doing it inside the garage, is because what they're doing is dangerous, it's tedious, and once they get this part done and go to the opener, that'll be a little less dangerous. So anyway, that kind of answers the question of, do the folks that are working here know that they're being filmed, and are they okay with it? For a lot of these companies, it gives them good publicity, and we also let them use the footage if they want to, like to make their own commercial. So anyway, that's how that works. They've almost got this hard part done. Once they marry that up, put the screws in, get those hinges holding the new section to the already installed sections, then we can go to the opener. And this is going to be a side mount opener, and they're quieter, but they're also more expensive. In the original quote of this door, it included the center belt driven or chain driven garage door opener, the typical one that you see, and the upcharge that already included that center opener is $300 or $400 to put this side opener. One thing that's crucial to a garage door is how well the concrete was laid, because the garage door bottom is straight, and if there's any bow to that concrete right there, it'll show up as gaps on either side of the door. I think we have a high spot right there, so it doesn't close perfectly, but it's pretty close. There it goes, garage door's going up. Nothing fell, nothing broke. Jimbo is a very conscientious and energetic person as well. Like he goes 100 miles an hour, but I could tell he was stressed out a little bit on that. He said he doesn't like to do that because there's a lot of bad things that can happen. That was a pretty neat trick, because he had to bend that track to get that first panel out. And he reforms it with that tool. He puts that tool in there and beats it with the hammer, and looks like new. All right, well, that is the side mount opener we're going with, a Chamberlain. Jimbo is telling me that the hard part's over with, the dangerous part's over with, and this part's a piece of cake. Of course, we have the safety sensors, and they go in to make sure that nobody's in the way of the door when it's opening and closing. And of course, they're the things that give you the most problems, right? You bump them, or too much sunlight on them, or too much dust on them, and your door don't want to go up or down. So I just asked Jimbo if he's going to put this little manual lock back on, because that's what I'm used to. You know, if a hurricane or something's coming, just lock this, or if you're going away on vacation. But he said everything's electronic in this. And it has an electric or electronic lock, and we don't need this manual one. You moved quick, I almost missed you putting that up there. That just slips over top of that shaft, right? That comes out, is that how that works? It just slips right over that. Okay, good. You can see how small and slim that is, and it's unobtrusive, right? It doesn't change anything on the ceiling here. And if we had a traditional lift, we would have a rail that goes right here. It would be mounted to the ceiling, and it just wouldn't look as clean. And also, this is supposed to be much quieter. So previously I've gone from a traditional chain drive to a Genie belt drive, and that makes a lot quieter to lift the door. And what you typically hear then is the door creeping and crunching, especially an older door that may be worn a little bit. But this door is real quiet because it's new, got new rollers and everything fits nicely. So he said all you're going to hear is a little bit of door noise and the hum of that motor, not the clanking of chains and stuff. And due to hurricane code, the whole door is framed in 2x6 material that's lag bolted into the framing of the garage. So what he's putting that garage door into is not sheetrock or 2x4s, it's treated 2x6 that frames this entire garage door. So that's the electronic lock. Now he's figuring out where he wants to put that on the door. So it's a round bolt. There's no round holes in the track. Do you have to drill a hole? Or do you have to drill a hole? Okay, cool. A template sticker. Figure out where you want to put it, and then drill your own round hole. You can see that the locking mechanism is round, and everything on the door track is cut as square. He's got a special staple gun that puts in these type of staples. He just lines the wire up. And he'll just neatly put all that wire going up that trim there. So that's a step bit, a step drill bit, where it'll drill different size holes the more you push it in. And I've heard about them. I've never had one, I've never used one. So I think that's the first time I've ever seen one in use. That's the one he just used, and he's going to a bigger one for the bigger hole, and you can see the steps in the bit, and you just push it in farther and it makes a bigger hole. He said that makes his job a lot quicker, but that's a $35 bit, so that's not one you want to be leaving around the job site. He said it's very hard and brittle, and if you drop it on the concrete, you break it, and there's 35 bucks gone. I think I know what I want. I want a set of step drill bits. That was cool. That way you don't have to change your bit. You start right from your pilot hole and go all the way up to, that's probably 1/2 inch or better. Jimbo's about the same age as me, and he's up and down ladders and all that. I just feel like my body's worn out for that. And Clint was saying, don't ever go in a store with Jimbo because you can't keep up with him. Jimbo's like, I got things to do. I know what I need to get. And he said his mom said she used to wear out a set of heels just trying to keep up with him. So in typical Piney Grove fashion, nothing is easy. So when the electricians moved or brought power from this outlet over there for the side mount, there's also a low voltage wire that is needed to run the sensors, and they didn't rerun that wire. It was run the first time for the traditional garage door opener, and all they did was run power over there. So Jimbo's working on a workaround. He's going to bring power over to the sensor with his own wire. So we got power to this one sensor here. So we're good. That comes off of the opener. And then he's going to run that little white line right on top of that ledge right there. Every trade is different. Every trade has a sub or subcontractor, and they just forgot to move that control wire or the sensor wire. Jimbo just adjusted on the fly, and we're not going to have to change that at all. I can't even see that wire where he stapled it up behind that trim or up above that trim. So that'll get power to that sensor on that side, and we'll be done here in a few minutes. They've adapted and overcome. We had a light on there. He's just finishing up the connections now. But if you've ever wondered why this is curly cued like this, because I've seen it on all sensors, including my house that was built 35 years ago, it's in case someone snags that wire with their foot or with a shovel or something that they put in the corner of their garage, and that moves, it won't pull the sensor off the bracket. This will just stretch the wire. Another thing that's missing is there should have been a wire here that controls your garage door so that you have the button here and you hit it and it goes up and down, but there's no control wire. It wasn't put in the wall. So it's just another thing that was forgotten, because there's a million things going on when you're building a house and the electricians just forgot that. So I think the solution is a wireless controller, but either way, we're gonna end up with a controller here and then also the ones that are in your vehicle. Jimbo's quick. I almost missed the first opening of the door. So the first time the door went up and down on its own power, it wouldn't go down all the way, and it's because those hurricane struts there, or those wind load struts, actually triggered the sensors, and the sensors thought something was obstructing the door and it wouldn't let it close all the way. It got close though, so it's triggering on that strut right there. When that strut comes down the track and gets in front of that sensor, then the opener stops pushing down. Between roll-ups and garage doors, we've had 6 installed out here, and I think every one has created some sort of fitment problem or closing problem, or the tracks needed to be adjusted. Garage doors are finicky, but once you get them right, they usually are right. And Jimbo said the #1 cause for repairs or service is that those sensors get bumped or they get dirty or something like that. It's not that the garage door opener motor itself burns out, but usually that the sensors have become misaligned or something, and that's the majority of his service calls. I don't know what these boys are doing in here. The door started going up. Clint started hollering. Jimbo started hollering. Okay, we're ready for the big test of the garage door. When it hits this 2x4, it should go back up because it'll take too much pressure to push down. Jimbo says if it doesn't work, then he's got some adjustments to make, but he has confidence it will work. Here we go, getting ready to touch. Is that what you wanted? Apparently that test is over and we passed it. Okay, so the opener is telling us that something happened. It was beeping and it's yellow. Oh, so it goes down part way and then down, then reset. Okay, you made it do that. All right, so if it does, you know, a child or something walks across there and breaks that sensor and it won't go down, it'll reset the next time it goes down. I haven't even looked at these panels. Last time we didn't find the dent till after they were installed. Jimbo's wrapping up and we were just going over operation of the door, and I saw this AC adapter thing here. I was like, Jimbo, what's this? I have to install that myself? It's a good thing we have this outlet here, because that's what the light will get powered by. And that's just a light that when the garage door is being opened, it'll have a light on in here when you're pulling your vehicle in or whatever. That would typically be on the unit, but the unit is over on the sidewall, so the light is, I guess, remotely controlled or something, right?
What's that?
The light is remotely controlled. Yeah, it sends a signal to it and tells it to turn it on and off. Looks like it's a little LED light.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's got a signal from the garage door opener to make that light go on. And he said when you cross the sensors here, when the door is open, it should come on too. So you can see the footprint of it. It's real small, kind of modern looking. It's also programmable with your phone. So hit the QR code, download the app, and you can control it. It also can hook up to Wi-Fi, so you can see if you left your garage door open while you were gone. And the lock is automatic. I thought there was a separate button for the lock, but it's not. You get one button on your remote, and we'll probably program our vehicles for it. But I'm going to be quiet, and let's just listen. So the mic is with me, so I'm closest to the garage door opener. Here we go. So just like Jimbo said, all you hear is the actual rattling of the doors, right? You cannot turn off the noise of the rollers and the hinges and stuff. And it's a new door. He didn't lube it because we still have a lot of dust in the air, so we don't want to lube it until after they've cleaned out the garage and cleaned up the house and everything. Then they'll come in here and lube it. And but the only noise you heard was a little bit of these hinges, and the motor was a slight hum in the background. So he told me last time when he was here that he's never had someone pay the upcharge for a wall mount and be disappointed because they're so quiet. And now I see why. It is a really, really nice garage door opener. Really, really nice addition or upgrade, I guess. And you don't have all that tracking and everything in the center with a traditional garage door. All right, I just hit the open button. Same thing. A little bit of hum and a little bit of hinge noise. All right, guys, Jimbo just left. He will have to come back and lube the door and everything once everything is clean in there. He's also going to put new black strips on either side, weather strips, because the other ones got damaged from the door being opened incorrectly over the past few weeks. And also he's bringing in a wireless controller so we can control the door from the outside. So y'all take care out there. Remember, there's a playlist for everything we've done from the ground up to build this house. It'll be down below. So if you're interested in seeing previous videos, you can go down there and click that playlist and see everything we've done on this house. But until next time, y'all take care out there, and we'll catch you on the next video.